Hello. I have the creative, not even creative, because I'm not creating anything right now. Um, I have the wanting of sharing things in my life right now, so I'm going to do it while it lasts. This is something that I've written about meeting my shadow. Um, this comes from a lot of things circulating in the media right now about being authentic in who you are and like finding yourself. And this is my little 2 cents on that. So I feel like I'm in class right now. But if I don't follow this, I am going to ramble and I don't even know what I say. So I'm just going to read what is on here for you. For so long, I've been oblivious to these things or flat out rejected them. It's been 6 years of me being on this mental health well-being journey. I'm sure a lot of you have been on it for a while as well. Or maybe you're just starting out, and I hope this helps. But I've had many realizations since then, setbacks and just plateaus as well. It's funny to think about myself in that sense so much, because I really do think about myself a lot. The same constant flow of thoughts, just I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm stressed, I'm lost. With all these thoughts come more thoughts, and how can I stop this feeling? How can I continue this feeling? How can I build on this? When will you be who you want to be? When will you start living? Everything I've been chasing is basically a peaceful, stress-free life and mentality. As much as I've wanted this, everything I consume in an effort to aid me in reaching my goals has helped me, yet never truly gotten me quite there. I've done a bunch of shadow work prompts and meditations, and I thought I had figured something out, but it wasn't until a couple months ago that I finally realized that I think I had just been lying to myself about figuring some things out. I would say these shadow work phrases to myself, or prompts. I would respond to them in hopes of figuring out what was underneath, but no matter what the response was, I think I was just lying to myself. You know that phrase that people tell someone who is in a relationship, it'll happen when it happens, when you least expect it? Unfortunately, that's true in this case. I know it sucks hearing that, but the work you're doing is not for nothing. After all, you are at least aware of the work that needs to be done or that you wish to do. One can only go as far as they want. If I never continued to look for self-help and mindfulness, any input for my life, I would probably still be just depressed, shy, and the lonely little girl that I used to be. At least now I can act beyond my anxiety, I can speak past my shyness, and I can walk alongside my lack of direction. Once I was truly honest with myself about my shortcomings, specifically the negative ones, I felt free. I knew who I was, not in the sense that I fit in a box, but in the sense that at my core, I understood parts of myself I'd never accepted before. For example, I'm very opinionated. I'm very stubborn. I'm anxious. And in some cases, some of these can be good, but in my case, they can also be very bad. All this talk about being your authentic self online is misleading, in my opinion. They only ever mention what's on the outside in relation to how well you know yourself on the inside. Our style, the decor we choose, our aesthetics, the music that you listen to, this is all like find yourself, like express yourself through these things, be your authentic self and what you choose to like. But in reality, those things constantly change. Every decade is a new trend. Yes, you could have the same basics, but something will always adjust. The exterior is not the determining factor for how authentic you are. To me, what I've defined authenticity as relies more so on who you are personally. How well do you know yourself? The parts you show to everyone and the parts you may be hiding even from yourself. Being authentic is being honest, not the aesthetic you choose and how well you can stick to it and its relation to your music choice, your profession, or your choice in home decor. I don't have anything under control. That is another thing that I had to accept in order to be me. I've been telling myself I have things under control since I was a child. This has been my biggest deception. I was always well behaved for those that needed me to behave, and well mannered and independent. Those were the standards set upon me, and in turn, I set upon myself. I was never given the option to simply be and become on my own. Everything was always decided for me on a small scale yet fundamental scale for someone's becoming. Nothing is certain in life. How could I force certainty out of myself when it's barely found in the exterior world? There is certainty in moments, yet somehow at some point something unexpected will happen. As much as I've repeated some of these things to myself in an effort to make a change or have some sort of life-changing realizations, sometimes as fast as I felt a glimmer of change, that glimmer turned into an opaque feeling once again. It really sucks when you see a little bit of something happening and then all of a sudden you're right back to where you started. You know, it kind of feels like somebody's closing the door on you in a room that you've already been in before, and suddenly you just can't go in there anymore, and you really liked being in that room, you know? It's so crazy to think that you can understand some things and be in a good place for just a couple of moments, and then just like that, it's all gone. And this is what truly made me just understand that nothing in life is certain. So I can't hold that against myself, you know? But I am aware I am a control freak now. Media makes it seem like life is full of blissful moments. Like somebody is always stress-free, and even though sometimes they show you the stress-free moments, they always have this grand comeback, you know? Or they always just have something amazing to like make it all go away, you know? This only adds to one's confusion as to why there is so much back and forth within ourselves. It kind of leaves you thinking, like, if only I could hold on to this feeling, my life would be better. And so then I begin to realize again, life is just constantly changing. Life has its life has its ups and downs, but mainly it's mundane, unfortunately. I can't control anything. I can try and give myself good experiences and the best life has to offer, but I can't be certain I will achieve it. Not for long, at least. One thing for sure is I will have good moments, bad moments, and moments that bore the hell out of me. Rediscovering these self-help motifs each time a little more profound has helped me realize maybe this is what life is about. Because every time that I understand something just a little bit more, or what I think is understanding it a little bit more, it's just like, wow, I feel great. This is awesome knowledge, you know? And maybe life is just about those little moments. A shitty experience with little enjoyment, but those little moments make it all the worthwhile. Being honest with yourself and meeting your shadow makes it all that much more bearable. Letting go of all the expectations you hold for yourself and being able to be in the moment and fully yourself. I hope you were able to take something away from this, and I come to you in my messy room. You know, I'm not always the tidiest person, and I don't want to only put out my best self on here, you know? We're all human. We're all messy. And that's just life. And yes, I did dye my eyebrows, if anybody from before is watching. That was also a big step in me being my authentic self, because I've been wanting to do that for a very long time, but it wouldn't have been received, and it wasn't received in the kindest way with my family. And that's not trying to put them down in any way. They're just very conservative, and they were never very exposed or accepting of differences within people that they have never really seen. Yes, I am the black sheep of my family, and it feels awesome. But I definitely do think that this helped me with a lot of everything else, and just being okay with being myself and accepting whatever negativity I receive through that, because at the end of the day, this made me a whole lot of happier. And even when people still give me, outside of my family too, give me some weird looks, you know, I think I look cool as hell, and that's all that matters. And I feel like myself with them like this. And I feel like it opened up a lot more of me being able to express myself and understand myself outside of just here as well. But yeah, I will say my final goodbye. I hope a lot of things. Okay, bye.